This is a review of Sony's full frame f1.8 50mm lens. It retails for about $200 US. This lens is very lightweight. Focusing ring has a bit of a mechanical grind to it. The lightweight nature of this lens makes it easy for mounting on a glide cam. The hood of this lens does not click into place very well, and it kind of slides back and forth and doesn't really lock into place. This lens takes very nice pictures at wide open aperture with very nice bokeh and depth of field, and the colors and everything come through really well. Let's do a sharpness test of this lens. As you can see that in the middle of the image, the sharpness is actually pretty good at wide open aperture. Towards the corners you see quite a lot of purple fringing, and it's very soft in the very edges of the picture. Stopping it down to f2.8, it's still quite soft in the corners, but the purple fringing is a little bit more manageable. The fringing disappears at about f3.5, but it's still a little bit soft in the corners. That goes away at f5.6. And then stopping it down to f9 gets rid of all of those problems completely, and it stays sharp to f16. Now let's do some autofocus tests of this lens in good light. This is in autofocus single shot mode. As you can see, it pulls focus fairly quickly on our subject, and then finds it again rather quickly without too much hunting. In autofocus continuous, this lens is pretty slow. And in good light it will eventually find your subject, but it takes it a while and it's not always accurate. But the motor is fairly quiet as it sort of ticks away gently as it tries to find your subject. Now here in low light conditions, this lens operates very poorly on autofocus continuous. Sometimes it will find its focus point, sometimes it just won't even bother. For instance here, it doesn't even try to find the focus at all. It does a reasonable job, hit and miss, if you use it in autofocus single shot, but it's not reliable, and in low light conditions you may have to use your manual focus abilities because it just doesn't, it's not accurate, and it sometimes just doesn't even bother trying to focus on your subject. The Nifty 50 lens is a very affordable portrait lens that lets in quite a bit of light, and is very good for videography where you don't need that extra sharpness. And if you're shooting portraits, you're not really concerned about the edges of your shots anyway. And it can be used in wide open aperture most of the time for video, as long as you're willing to do some manual focus. It would be very hard to track a moving subject going in and out of the frame in autofocus continuous. I would say it's impossible with this lens, but easily done in manual focus, which a lot of videographers use anyway. This is a pretty affordable lens to have in your arsenal for only $200. The drawbacks are minor considering the price point, and you can spend a lot more money for a manual focus 50mm lens. Thanks for watching.